Good morning, beloveds. Um, it's Monday. it's, it went from 82 yesterday, I think, to 52 this morning. So, yeah, I'm just like, and it's going to get back to the 70s, and then it could be in the 30s this weekend. Welcome to spring, but the trees are starting to bloom. And I just want to give you a heads up if you're following along. Jesse had a suggestion for my next book, which I'll start in April, and my copy came in. I know it's backwards. I'm sorry. I had to buy it on a used book website. I went to abebooks, abe.com. And they've got fantastic books at fantastic prices. And so this one is it's not just Ernest Holmes. They're all New Thought writers. And it's a collection that he had. And so these are some of Jesse's teachers. And let's see, Beyond Appearances consists of 365 inspirational readings selected from the daily guides to richer living section of Science of Mind magazines. So there are a number of Science of Mind ministers, practitioners, and New Thought writers and teachers. So I'm super excited about this. It's edited by Kathleen Julien, and so I will be starting this one in April. But we are still finishing up this one. So it is March 7th. Our title is I Am Rich with the Richness of God. And our quote is, "Every beast in the forest is mine, and the cattle on 1,000 hills, for the world is mine and the fullness thereof." And that is Psalm 50, 10, and 12. Go read the psalm. How beautiful was the thought of Jesus when he told us to consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all of his glory was not as arrayed like one of these. Jesus is telling us to identify ourselves with the abundance of nature, the constant outpouring of the divine life in goodness, in riches, in everything that makes for happiness and wholeness and success. God cannot fail. The divine will never fail us if we have implicit confidence in it. But we are so caught with the fear and doubt and uncertainty that it becomes necessary for us to take time every day to reaffirm our union with the great outflowing givingness of life. This is the purpose of prayer and meditation. It is natural that we should wish the more abundant life. It is right that we should accept it. God has already made the gift. It is up to us to receive it. Today, I receive this goodness. Today, everything that I am and have is increased by it. I identify with everything I do with success. I think affirmatively, and in all my prayers, I accept abundance. Whatever I need, whenever I need it, wherever I need it, for as long as I need it, will always be at hand. I no longer see negation or delay or stagnation in my affairs, but rather claim that the action of the living Spirit prospers everything I do, increases every good I possess, and through me brings gladness and joy, happiness and success to everyone I meet. Everything I think about shall be animated by the divine presence, sustained by the infinite power, and multiplied by the divine goodness. All right. So I always have thoughts about when we talk about abundance. The first one being that he says this is the purpose of prayer and meditation. Which it follows the line, but we are so caught with fear and doubt and uncertainty that it becomes necessary for us to take time every day to affirm our union with the great outflowing givingness of life. All right, why? Why do we need to do that? And I will tell you, because when you read stuff like this, you're like, well, okay, that's very airy-fairy. That's not how the real world works. Well, here's the truth. Yes, that is exactly how the real world works. The reality, the idea behind the material mess that we have made. All right. Um, that is the way, because you look at nature, you absolutely look at nature, and nature manages to provide just about everything that most creatures need. Where the problem comes in is us. Because we can get all up in our business, we can get all up in our heads, we can get caught up in the there's not enough. And when we get caught up in there's not enough, then we get busy looking at everybody else going, well, they have more than I do. I'm going to take it away from them. All right. So I'm going to go back to my premise. This is the way the real world works. And what we did was we got caught up in the fear, the uncertainty, and the doubt. And we made a mess of it. We absolutely made a mess of it. So now it is our job to go back every day and realign ourselves with the real idea, with the abundant idea, with the idea that there is absolutely enough for everyone. And that is what prayer and meditation is for. And once we do that, then we can begin to communicate that idea to everyone we meet. Now, are we actually going to go out there and preach abundance to them? No. But we are going to live our lives in such a way that they go, what do you know that I don't know? I want what you've got, which is the problem, which is what got us in the problem in the first place, is I want what you've got. But in this case, it's a teaching, it's an idea, it's a concept. It's a realization that life is good and that life can be good for everyone. So when we hear stuff like this, and then we go, yeah, but that's not the real world, we want to adjust our thinking. We want to go, yes, that is the real world. That is the concept. It is not necessarily the material mess, and we have the power to change that. And it is an infinite power. So keep that in mind when you read stuff like this and you look at your life and go, this is not the world I'm living in. Because in a way you're right, and in a way he's right. The real world is like that. The material world that we live in, it may not be like that, but we absolutely have the power to adjust it, to align it with the real world. And we start by reminding ourselves who we are. And once we've aligned ourselves with who we are, then we can begin working on aligning the rest of the world. So, but it all starts right here. It all starts right here with us. Okay? So, I am rich with the richness of God. Honestly, I don't know what to do with the psalm. Every beast in the forest is mine, and the cattle on 1,000 hills, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. I don't know. Go read the psalm. It's Psalm 50. That happens to be 10 and 12 in line 10 and 12 in Psalm 50. Go read Psalm 50. When you don't, read a few lines before, a few lines after, it'll make more sense. When you take the Bible out of context, that's where problems start. Honest to God, that's where problems start. Okay. How beautiful was the thought of Jesus when he told us to, open quote, consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these, close quote. All right. So Jesus was telling us to identify ourselves with the abundance of nature, because nature gives absolutely everything that all of the creatures need. And then when you say, but, I can say, nature does. And when there are problems, humans are almost directly involved. Almost always directly involved. Yes, there are natural catastrophes and things like that. But for the most part, nature runs itself. And when nature has a problem, humans are the culprit. We've gotten in the way of. Okay? So, Jesus was telling us to identify ourselves with the abundance of nature, the constant outpouring of the divine life in goodness, in riches, in everything that makes for happiness and wholeness and success. God cannot fail, but we can get in our own way. Absolutely. God never fails, but we get in our own way, which is what he's going to tell you in just a minute. The divine will never fail us if we have implicit confidence in it. But, I told you, but we are so caught with fear and doubt and uncertainty that it becomes necessary for us to take time every day to reaffirm our union with the great outflowing givingness of life. Now, what do you do? What do the enlightened do before enlightenment? They chop wood and carry water. What do they do after enlightenment? They chop wood and carry water. So even if you are perfectly aligned and everything is working for you perfectly, then you still want to make sure that every day you are taking the time to align with that. You don't want to get out of alignment. You don't want to get out of the groove. So even the most, I'm sure Emma, I'll use Emma. I'm sure that Emma took time every day to pray and meditate, even at the height of her, faith, because that's what you do. That's the point of spiritual practice. It's not to make it perfect, it's to make it permanent. When you do spiritual practices every day, then you create those grooves, you create that ability to respond from your spiritual practice, not the material nonsense. Okay? And you can look at the spiritual world and see the spiritual world and how it overlays the material world and see where we can make adjustments in the material world so that it aligns with the spiritual world. This is the purpose of prayer and meditation. It is natural that we should wish the more abundant life. It is right that we should accept it. God has already made the gift. It is up to us to receive it. And it is up to us to understand that as we receive it, everyone else does too. That nobody is left out of this gift. Absolutely nobody. All right, so on to your power statements. Today, I receive this goodness. Today, everything that I am and have is increased by it. I identify everything I do with success. Because so many times there are a whole lot of little things that we don't think about that are successes. They're too small. Well, you know what? If you're having a rough day, count your small successes. Sometimes we make to-do lists just so that we can check the first thing off, which was to make the to-do list. We got to take the small wins, because the small wins add up to the big ones. So count all of your successes. Identify everything you do with success. I think affirmatively, and in all my prayers, I accept abundance. In all my prayers, I accept abundance. And what does abundance look like to me? It's not just about money. All right? I have beat that drum. Ernest beats that drum too. It's not just about money. It's about the quality of your relationships, not the quantity of your relationships. So, among other things. Whatever I need, whenever I need it, wherever I need it, for as long as I need it, will always be at hand. And sometimes part of that is about being willing to open up a very narrow definition about what I need. Sometimes what I need is actually staring me in the face, but I am so caught up on this idea of it's got to be this that I missed this. And it's like, this has been here the whole time. So we got to open up those narrow definitions. All right. I no longer see negation, delay, or stagnation in my affairs, but rather claim that the action of the living Spirit prospers everything I do, increases every good I possess, and through me brings gladness and joy and happiness and success to everyone I meet. It doesn't just, when I am successful, it's not just for me. When I am successful, all of the people around me are successful. My success doesn't take away from, not only does it not take away from them, but it encourages and increases everybody else's. All right. That's the way I want to live my life. I want to live my life that my win is a win for everybody. All right. I don't ever want to be in a position to take something away from another person. All right. Everything I think about shall be animated by the divine presence, sustained by the infinite power, and multiplied by the divine goodness. And right there is one way to start. Everything I think about shall be animated by the divine presence. To remember who I am, to remember who you are, to remember that we are beloved children of God, to remember that that power is always available to us. It is our divine inheritance. You know, we're made by, from, for that divine love. That is our gift. All right. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it? Well, okay. The mission, should we choose to accept it, is to accept it, to accept the goodness, the richness, the abundance of God. To accept it because God has already made the gift. And it's up to us to be willing to look around and accept it and to see it in all of the infinite varieties that it comes to us, not just our very narrow material definition. All right. I'm really asking you, the mission for the day is to open up your definition of success, your definition of richness, your definition of abundance, and to recognize that who you are, that beloved child of God, it is your divine inheritance, that goodness, that success. It is yours. All right. And I think that if you can open up that narrow definition, you'll see a lot more than you thought you had. All right, beloveds, I'm going to move into the process of my day. And it's Monday, God knows what, and with the weather being, so I'm going to go do that. But first, I'm going to encourage you, as I always do, in the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself, whatever it looks like. Be it 3 deep breaths before you say something, be it drinking and really savoring something that tastes good, be it hot, cold, it doesn't matter. But actually taking the time to enjoy the flavors, to engage all of your senses. How does it feel? How does it taste? How does it smell? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Engage your senses. Take that time for yourself. Or go for a walk, take a nap, go rest, or tackle that project that you've been putting off. It probably won't take you as long as you think it will. I had a couple of projects last night that I finished that I'd just been putting off. So, that's what it looks like. Kind, compassionate, and loving. It is about creating a habit. It's about creating a default setting. It is about creating a first response so that no matter what happens, when the material world goes sideways and we are busy looking at the spiritual version going, they don't match, we can have a loving, kind, compassionate response. And then we can get to working on that alignment. All right. So that is my suggestion. As always, I also encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body, to drink plenty of water, to go get some bright sun. There's no sun, bright light, because there's no sun today. Weather. Um, and that cold front came in early this morning. Um, and take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. So open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around us. Always. It is up to us to look for it and to see it. And to do that, as Emma suggests, look for the good and praise it. Count every small success. And that you will see that the small successes add up to the big ones. All right? Heaven is a state of consciousness. It is all around us all the time. It is up to us to grab onto that and run with it. Okay. I know the Monday book study is on Francis Scoville Shin. So if you are interested, we got about 3 book studies going on right now. If you're interested in any of them, I say email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact email. That has all the links to request whatever information, because I think the power of decision starts this Thursday, and that's going to be a good class too. The practitioners that are teaching that are really amazing. So look into that. We're on the social medias if you need us. So I'm going to tell you to have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a productive day, or if you need a restful day, a fantastic day, a getting things done day, a magical Monday, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God, always and forever. And that is a state of grace that we can count on. Because the best thing about grace is it is granted. It can't be earned and it can't be taken away. All right, beloveds? That's the God that I believe in. All right. So Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. Have an amazing day. Know that you're loved, and I will see you next time.